my personal favorite trigger. As you can tell by the title, we will be tapping on a variety of objects. And my sole purpose of tonight's video is figuring out what object is my favorite, or which object is the best tapping object. Because over the past, let's say 5 to maybe almost 10 years that I've been listening to ASMR, I've always thought that tapping was the best trigger, but I never really took into consideration, or never really thought about which tapping object is the best. So it's about time that we're gonna try and figure that one out today. If you do enjoy these somewhat longer videos, leave a comment, let me know, and let me know which trigger we should discover next time, and figuring out what sound of that trigger is the best one. So maybe we can do next time hand sounds, and we will figure out what hand sounds make the best sounds. But without further ado, we're just gonna get right started. Up first, we have a headphones case. This one is from my headphones, my Sony, the long name ones, my Sony WX1000 M4, I think. And I really like this object. I really like this object, simply because of the way I can hold this thing, and the texture is also very nice. Plus it has a different backside with like a net, and we can make some tapping sounds on the edges. But the main part of this trigger is the flat surface. Also, quickly breaking the fourth wall, I am currently recording this video at 6:30 in the morning, so if my eyes do still look a bit tired, that's because I just hopped out of bed and I immediately put on the camera, which is also the reason why, if you guys can see right here in the corner of the video, Momo is sleeping nicely, so fingers crossed that we can keep it like this. personally am not. Oh, I'm not the biggest fan of the more clicky tapping sounds. So any harder surfaces like metal or even glass. Although I do like the ones where they're tapping on glass with filled water in. But overall, I think the more softer textured ones do sound nicer. Hopefully that makes some sense to some of you, because I might be sounding like a crazy person. Okay. That was the first object. We will be probably doing around 8, I think, different objects today. So let's just give each one of them a ranking out of 10. You can play along, or you can also participate by leaving a comment with your own rating for each object. Me personally, I would give this one a solid 8 out of 10. I think this object is very solid for tapping. It has a great hold, has a nice texture, has a lovely shape, but I don't think it's a perfect object because it lacks some depth and it lacks a couple of extra features like different textures or different tapping surfaces, let's say it like this. So yeah, up next we have another case, but this time for a different surface. This one is, I think personally for me, a more satisfying sound, even more satisfying than the previous one, because this is getting towards the more sticky tapping, which I very much enjoy. And besides that, this has a very easy hold once again. A very easy hold. always checking if the audio is being recorded. Because I'm like, hopefully it doesn't stop out of nowhere. But we're Gucci. We know what we're doing. Oh yeah. This one also has different sides which we can tap on with different textures. As you can hear, this is a very nice tapping surface. Also, this just has a nice grabbing surface. Which I really enjoy as well. So overall, this is already a banger. Without a doubt, this is a very nice tapping object. Before we go on to the next one, let's try and do something to change the texture just a little bit. Because this object has a case inside of it, so maybe if we remove the case, there will be some different sounds coming from this case. Yes, I do think we have some different sounds now. Some more clicky sounds, but in a good way. Guys, I might be sounding crazy, I don't even know, but I do feel like we are hearing some different sounds. Let's go a bit on top of the microphone, Okay. So that was it for the second case that makes good sounds. Shout out to Ravi Taffy, the OG, the goat. What do we think about that one? I think this one was just slightly more satisfying than the previous one, which means that I would give this one a 8.7, because I do feel like half a point is a bit too few. 8.7 out of 10. I think the surface is very satisfying. appealing to my ears. I also think it's very easy to tap on, which is important. And then I think it has a nice difference between a case that has something inside of it and a empty case. So a lot of different sounds could be made, or a lot of satisfying sounds could have been made or can be made. But let's go on to the next object, which is gonna be a object that we have never used, but we have opened recently a couple of Pokemon packs, and this surface is also very, very soft. I think this is, we'll have to figure out if we like this one, because this is a different type of texture than we're used to. But I also really enjoy these colors visually. I think this is a very appealing object to tap on. And what I really like about this one is when I fold it like this, I get very dull sounds. But when I open up, the sounds change. So it's a very, very easy to change sound. And it also has different textures on the inside, which we can use as well. Plus, this one is closer again to that sticky tapping sound, which I personally really enjoy. What a beautiful Pokemon. And what a beautiful colors, you guys, look at that. So satisfying. Whoa. So satisfying. This edge has a very satisfying tapping sound. Wow. Wow, that's a very nice tapping sound on the edge. That sounds very good. So, here's where I start to dislike tapping sounds a bit. I don't know about you guys, but I don't like the very clicky sounds. This one doesn't bother me too much, but this is like the edge of clicking sounds. I really hope that makes sense to at least one person, because otherwise I'm gonna sound like a lunatic. I think it does. If at any point during this video you feel like falling asleep, just know that that's okay. This tapping video is for anyone that is currently studying or maybe gaming, or maybe you're just trying to get to sleep. So, if you are falling asleep and you're not supposed to be studying or working anymore, then feel free to close your eyes and get some well-deserved rest. And if you're supposed to be working, can you please stop scrolling on Instagram Reels? That's not gonna help, my guy. Okay. That's been it for this object. Again, time for a good rating. I actually was very surprised, pleasantly surprised by that one. So I might even have to admit that that one was slightly, again, better than the previous one. So I would give that one a 8.9 out of 10. I think the visual appeal helped it get to that point. But okay. Now we are I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get into the nines with this one, you guys. If you've been around on the channel before, you know that this object that this object is a... Oh yeah, now we're getting to the nights. This is personally one of my favorite objects. This is my dog's passport case, little thingy. And I'm realizing that this also kind of makes a clicky sound. A clicky. Oh, okay, Momo is up. A clicky sound. So what I really enjoy is, once again, when we are tapping in the middle or when we're tapping on the edges, there's a bit of a difference, but this object also has a backside. Oh, that sounds so good. I hope Momo can stay quiet for a bit longer. Just a bit longer. Once again, this is one of those objects, very easy to hold, very cute to look at, because we have a nice and cute Shiba, a little Shiba on the pocket or the front, and it says cute dog, which of course is super cute. And we have the front side or the back side to tap on. The front side, and the back side, Okay, I'm quickly gonna put Momo in his bench. Okay. I don't like doing that in the morning, but he was making these sounds, and I know they were gonna get picked up. Of course, it's normal, he just woke up, but you'll have to wait just another couple minutes before I'm done, and we can go on a longer walk. You guys, this object is just so good. The surface is just perfect for tapping, and the way you can hold it as well. I mean, this is just, This is what you call a very nice tapping object. I think where this object, like I said, really stands out is the surface, because if we don't want to tap, we can still rub it, grab it. Oh, that makes such good sounds. But we're here for the tapping sounds, so let's just keep focused, or stay focused. There's also a little bit of a harder surface here at the top, because it's the magnetic opening thing. So this also has a different texture by like a little bit of a different texture. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about this one. Is this one your favorite? I personally think this might be my favorite tapping object that we've ever used. So, because of that, I also do feel like there's possibilities for a even better tapping object. So, unfortunately, I cannot give this one a 10 out of 10. But we are so close. So this one is getting a 9.8 out of 10. Yeah, I don't think there's gonna be another object soon that might compete. So that was it for this one. Okay, and now we are gonna go on to the last tapping object for tonight's video, because I'm gonna make a part 2 of this video, so, or maybe even a part 3. Every part we are gonna be looking at 5 different tapping objects and deciding which one is the best one. And so, for tonight's video, we might have already found our winner, or my personal favorite. But since I told you guys that I really like sticky tapping sounds, I wanted to give a chance to a new tapping object in our rotation. A tapping object that we have never used, but that I have listened to quite some times. This is an object that's been used quite sometimes by a famous, very well-known ASMR YouTuber by the name of PJ ASMR. And I'm talking about none other than the dirty lint roller. As you can tell, this one is very dirty, but it also has a very nice tapping surface, specifically for sticky tapping. So I wanted to give this one a chance to figure out if this one can compete with the cute dog case. And I think this one is very nice sounding already. Oh, okay. Okay, so we have some nice sticky sounds. But we are here for the tapping sounds tonight. We are here for the tapping sounds. also like that there's this little sound coming from. Hopefully it's being picked up. Yeah, definitely. This little sound from the holder that I think adds some necessary depth to a trigger. I would call this a two-dimensional trigger. I just hope that the sounds of the tapping and the holder aren't becoming too loud. I don't know if I can screw this one in more. Okay. Very sticky tapping sounds. Very sticky tapping sounds to get you to relax, concentrate, or maybe even fall asleep. I know we are here tonight for the tapping sounds, but I just quickly wanted to discover some of the other very sticky sounds. Okay. I think I've been able to figure out what I think about this object. So, my hands are very sticky now. But I do not believe that we found a contender for the case. The cute dog case. I think this sticky tapping object is very good sounding, but it's lacking a couple of things. There's only one specific surface you can tap on, and the way to hold it is quite uncomfortable. So, that being said, I do still believe that is a very nice and solid tapping object, which is why I would personally give it a, let's think, I would personally give it a 8.5 out of 10. And if I'm not mistaken, that proves, of course, that the Q-Dog case is the best tapping sound of the night. And as for our ranking, in last place we have the case for the headphones with a solid 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Up next, we have the Lint roller. With a very solid 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. Then very close again to that one, we have the case for my microphones with a 8.7 out of 10. Followed up very closely by the folder, whatever you want to call it, with a very, very solid, once again, 8.9 out of 10. 8.9 out of 10. I really hope that I'm remembering those rankings, but I'm pretty sure those are the rankings that I gave, because this is how I'm feeling as well. So 8.9 out of 10, barely scratching the 9 surface. So that's our second place trigger, but winning by a landslide, basically. Winning by a landslide. We have the cute dog case. Oh yeah. With a almost perfect score. Of 999.8 out of 10. Like I said, this tapping object is basically suggesting that there's room for perfection, but at the same time, at this point in time, we're not getting closer to perfection than this, which is why this deserves the highest ranking of all these tapping objects for tonight. If you did like this concept of this video, getting about 5 tapping objects and figuring out which one is the nicest one, we can make this into a series. Where we discover or we rank 5 objects each and every week, month, whatever. And then by the end of the year, being next year, hopefully, we will have figured out the ultimate tapping object. Because there are a lot of tapping surfaces, of course, to discover, but as you also know, a lot of them have similar tapping experiences. So, in the next installment of this video, we will discover 5 new or 5 returning other objects, not any of these anymore, and we'll rank them again. And then after 5 installments of this type of video, we will be ranking the winners of each installment against each other for the ultimate tapping object winner. Hope that made sense. So, as for now, this is our first winner of the first installment of figuring out which object is the best tapping object for ASMR. besides that, I really do hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, as always, I'm never asking for likes, but I do ask for comments because those are very much interactive. So if you did enjoy this video and you like ASMR in general, you can always subscribe to the channel. It would help me out quite a lot. I'm kind of hopeful to get to 5,000 before the end of the year, but we would have to grow by quite a number, so of course I'm not gonna kill myself over, or like, not of course kill myself over, but I would not hold myself accountable or hold myself over something like this if it doesn't work out. But that would be a nice milestone to reach by the end of the year. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. And besides that, I will see you guys in the next video. Okay guys, bye bye.